Hey everybody. Okay, first things first. I know that this is the kind of first video that I've ever done on this channel, at least that I'm gonna be keeping up. Um, so this might not be what you expected from me, but I promise the PNG tuber thing. This is not gonna be common. This is not going to be the standard for this. But it does help whenever I don't want to fully animate a video, but I still want to get my thoughts out, but I don't want to start a third channel because, oh my god, 2 is enough. 2 is too much, actually. So, okay. If you can't tell by the title, thumbnail, and what I'm wearing in this little doodle of me, we're going to be talking about the Amazing Digital Circus and its finale, which I thought was really good. I just want to get that out of the way. Like, first things first, I thought that the finale was really good. I've been following the series since before, like, even the first teaser trailer came out, which, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm OG, I know. But I wasn't as deeply invested as a lot of other people were in the series. I will say that much. There are a lot of people who are crazy about this series, and I'm kind of just like, I enjoy it. I like watching it. So, that being said, I was very hyped for the finale, and I avoided spoilers very deeply. And I finally got to go see it. I got to go see it in theaters the day it came out. This is a little bit delayed for me to be reviewing it, but you know what? Whatever. This is going to be my initial thoughts, initial opinions, stuff like that. Okay, so let's start with some of the good. I will say that... Oh, wait. Guys, warning. Big warning. This is going to be a very spoiler-heavy video. I actually posted a poll on my YouTube posts, and I was like, do you guys want spoilers? And I think actually more people said they didn't want spoilers, but I don't really know how to talk about it without really talking about it, so you've been warned. I'm burping. I'm Rick. Okay, so Jax. We need to talk about Jax because Jax was the main attraction for this, and I do not blame Gooseworks or Glitch for this. Poppy and Jax have always been the main characters. I've always really enjoyed Jax, and Pomni and Jax are the main characters of the finale. Who would have guessed that? And, you know, I really think that there's a lot that we could go over with Ribbit and Jax specifically. But I just wanted to address something that I've seen online a fair bit, which I know this is kind of stupid of me probably to be addressing internet controversy. Not even controversy, just things I've seen said about the finale. I've seen a lot of people being like, damn, Jax really fumbled a baddie. And it's like, thank God there's hope for some of us if Ribbit can unabstract. Because, you know, obviously he'd go to Pomni, and then, you know, Ribbit would be free. Ribbit would be on the market, you know. I have a girlfriend. I'm not talking about for me. I'm talking about my friend. His name's Bradley. He wants Ribbit bad. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people do not seem to understand the sheer mental strain that Jax was under. And this isn't any sort of excuse for her actions, which I will be referring to Jax as her throughout this video. I know that might get confusing because there's like 2 male characters in this whole damn show, but I think that Jax was going through a lot.
9/11 was bad.
I know. It's something that has been said before. But I think that this was just a good explanation for her actions and a really powerful look at mental health in the trans experience, because I know a thing or two about the gender spectrum, guys, in case you can't tell. And nowhere was it more prevalent, this whole transgender, not even allegory. A lot of people are saying there was subtext. No, it was the main text, guys. Jax is 100% transgender. There's zero doubt about that. And the use of Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, which, side note, I don't know why they did a cover. Maybe it was cheaper to do the cover than to license the actual song, but I like the original song a lot better than the cover that they did. But the use of it was beautiful. Like, that was the closest I came to crying in this entire series. And I'll tell you, it was a very close tier. It was there were people in the auditorium that were definitely crying at this sequence. I almost got there. So that's emotional for me because I don't tend to cry at movies or shows or anything. I've only cried at The Good Place and Coco. So yeah. But I really want to pick apart the song and the choice of Isn't She Lovely? The song goes over Stevie Wonder and his daughter, who is just born, hence the lyric, less than 1 minute old. Yeah, that line, that one right there, that was really beautiful. I thought that was extremely beautiful because a lot of people, whenever they come out as transgender, and this is speaking from experience, it feels almost like they're a brand new person, like they've just been reborn as this person that they've always been meant to be. I just thought that I thought that was really beautiful. It really hit me hard, and I immediately got it. I immediately like felt it, especially having known the song beforehand. I think that added a whole new weight to hearing it in this context. But it just really hits whenever you realize that Jax only really got to exist as her true self, and being out to someone, vulnerable to someone like that, for like less than a minute before abstracting. And I have to say, massive respect to Glitch for actually letting Jax abstract instead of saving her with like some cheesy power of love type of thing like I thought they were going to do. I was kind of getting scared in the theater because I was like, God, please don't. Please don't. And they didn't. So that's really good. That's really good. Because sometimes love is not enough to save someone from their own mind and their own mental state. And that's a really powerful message. I think it can help a lot of people who are people who have had someone in their lives take their own life or, go through something terrible, and they wish that they were there for them. And they have to realize it's not their fault, which I think was something that, it was enforced throughout this, that it was not Pomni's fault for the way Jax was. But, it wasn't necessarily Jax's fault either. There were a lot of things that led up to that. And again, love is not enough to save somebody a lot of the time. But I thought it was really great that Pomni was very much willing to die or abstract with Jax, proving how loved Jax really was, even though Jax, I guess maybe either didn't see it or just it wasn't enough to save, which again, it can't always be enough. Okay, speed round. Here's some other things that I really liked. The abstraction animation and just the animation in general was really gorgeous. Like, the best in the series for sure. The brief moments... Oh, I turned British. Brief moments with Zubul and Gangle were incredibly sweet, but of course, I wish that they had more. And notice how I didn't say Kinga because Kinga got like 2 scenes in this whole damn finale. I'll get to that later. You can tell that I really am pissed, can't you? I love the real world reveals. Like seeing their IRL versions, it matched exactly what I thought that they would look like or how they would act. Even in that brief bit that we got to see them, their mannerisms and, who they are and what they became and what they do, it really made sense. And I really respect that there wasn't some crazy mischaracterization. But I do have something to say about IRL Kinger. I will also get to that shortly. And it was also great seeing them embrace their real life traits in the circus, like Zubul bartending in the circus for Kane. That was really sweet. I really liked that. Kaufmo seemed chill as hell, and he did not deserve one bit of that. I mean, none of these people deserve this, but Kaufmo especially, dude was chill. But anytime I think of Kaufmo, I can only think of that YouTube fan animation where he's like, why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know why. That joke got a laugh out of me. I'll tell you that much. Finally, Kane lifting his hat in Jax's honor was really sweet, actually. I really liked that bit. Okay, I got the positives out of the way. And again, I really like this finale. But there are some bad things in it, things that I did not like, things that I disagreed with. So let's go over those.
Pomni?
Yes, Gummy Goo?
I really miss you.
I miss you too. I don't think I can survive in this digital circus alone.
It's okay. I'll always be with you in your heart.
The finale desperately needed another 30 minutes of content because Like, I know we're talking about an indie studio, but this thing is a cash cow. They definitely could have made at least one more episode or just made the finale longer. I think that could have helped with some of the pacing issues, could have given some spare time to all the other cast. You know, this is the Jack show basically at the end. And I would have, like, you know, really enjoyed seeing a bit more of Zooble and Gangle and the Kinger and even some of the abstracted people, a little bit more about Kaufmo, Scratch, you know, all those people. They definitely deserve some time to shine. Considering this was a limited run series, you know, only 9 episodes, they 100% had that budget. I wish that they would have used it, but, you know, whatever. Probably one of the biggest complaints that I've seen is that Jack's abstracting was incredibly abrupt. And the Ragatha and Pomni hug and walk scene dragged on for way too long after that. Kind of felt like they were just padding the runtime out, but you know, I didn't really like how Kane got immediately brought back and accepted by the cast. That felt very out of character. And also, where was B Kane? That was like a thing, right? That was going to be a thing. What was the deal with that? Was that just to throw us off our tracks? I don't know what that was. The characters really accepted the reality that they were digital brain scans way too fast. Because, you know, at the start of the show, it was described as sort of like an existential horror. At least I think there's something horror, something existential, something. And I feel like the show didn't delve into that nearly enough. And I think to go along with a lot of my complaints about the lack of world building, we didn't really get much of an answer as to how the Macroverse operates. You know, the little dusty old like 80s, 90s computer that they were rocking in there. In all those photos of the exit and the office and whatnot. We didn't really get an explanation on that, how it's still up, how it gets power, how it gets Wi-Fi. Because, you know, Kane goes to the Wi-Fi thing and he's getting all this info on the digital circus cast's lives. And the Wi-Fi starts dropping, which I thought was weird because that would insinuate that either the Wi-Fi itself was moving, which it's cafe Wi-Fi, I don't think it's moving, or the device is moving that is hosting the digital circus, which that would imply that maybe it got moved over to a new host computer, maybe a laptop or something. I've seen a lot of people say that maybe a cafe was built right beside where the CNA building was, and that's how it got access to Wi-Fi. I don't know how it had power. So yeah, maybe the Macroverse was just something Kane built, like a figment of his imagination. Who knows? I don't know. And then yeah, it kind of sucks that we never got to meet the previous circus members who were only ever teased on the hallway doors. There are a lot of them. We never even got like a speaking line from Scratch, if I remember correctly, which, yeah, this sucks. This sucks. So those were the good and bad, and now I kind of just want to talk about just a bunch of other random thoughts. This isn't really like a comprehensive review of the episode if you haven't caught on by now. I'm kind of just going down my list of notes that I took about the finale and just, you know, giving my thoughts, giving my general thoughts.
Have you noticed Ribbit's bulging belly? She's actually pregnant with Jax's child.
Okay, so I just want to mention, oh my God, I don't know how I would have survived if I did not go watch it opening day because I've been spoiled to hell and back. People did not take the spoiler, like, do not spoil this warning. They did not take that to heart, which, you know, sucks, but it's also autistic children that really like this show, so you can't really expect them to be quiet about their hyperfixation. Also, there are a lot of people denying that Jax is trans. I don't know why you would say that if you've seen the finale and actually a lot of the show, then you would know for a fact that Jax is trans. But there's a lot of people who are denying it, which I don't know why. Jax in the real world even goes to Zooble's queer bar. I mean, I assume it's a queer bar. It's a place where people can be themselves. It's a queer bar, okay? Jax is going to a queer bar. The thing he told his mom is that guys, I'm so sorry. I've been so used to calling Jax a he. This is going to be hard to get used to. She. I know I said earlier I'd use she, her. I apologize. But no, yeah, she goes to a queer bar. She probably told her mom, like, hey, I'm trans. That's why she got, like, yelled at. Also, I feel like there wasn't enough emphasis on the facts that Jax killed her mom, maybe? I feel like that deserved a little bit more attention, but you know what? Whatever. And okay, so this is another point of contention I've seen is the suicide allegory. And I'm not going to like sugarcoat the words. I'm going to say suicide and not going to sewer slide. Ha 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 ha. Guys, this is a fucking serious topic. Treat it like that, okay? So abstraction, a lot of people see it as suicide. And I can see it. It is a perfect like encapsulation of the terrifying regret that an individual experiences right as they're about to die. And this is something that a lot of suicide survivors have actually come out and talked about, how they are so close to death and they realize how desperately they don't want it, which is something that is, you know, it's something that we see Jax feeling. Jax is like, I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go. And this part broke my heart. I have known people who have either pulled the trigger or have nearly pulled the trigger. And I think that this kind of representation is extremely important in media today, especially something that a lot of children, a lot of people will be dealing with. It's very important for them to see that this isn't the way. There are people there for you. You are loved. You are the encapsulation of love. And there is a life for you here on Earth or in the circus or wherever it may be. Suicide is not the answer. However, I do want to argue against the suicide allegory slightly. I know that this is a digital place, so I guess if someone kills themselves, they can be brought back. They're a digital file. But I don't know if that's the best message to be sending out to people is, oh, if you kill yourself, you can come back. I don't think that's a good idea. It's shown that Scratch was brought back, or at least something like that. I don't know what that was supposed to represent, but Scratch appeared right back on that stage and was not brought up for the rest of the finale. I don't know why. I don't know what the point of that scene was. Treating it strictly as a suicide metaphor sends a pretty messy message. I think that just generally a mental health allegory, I mean, that's very obvious, and a lot of suicidal people deal with a lot of mental health issues. But I think it functions a lot better as an allegory. The flashbacks perfectly show how hard it is for Jax to reach out and how easy it is to deflect and treat life as a joke, and how all that stuff can like strain your relationships, which is something that a lot of people with mental health disorders go through, is feeling disconnected from others. Now, in a complete mischaracterization of Pomni, Jax walks up to her and is like reaching out his hand as if he wants to say something. And this can be seen as like a final attempt for support, but I don't think, even if Pomni had offered her support here, I don't know if that would have been enough to stop Jax from abstracting. But I do think it was completely out of character for Pomni to not press the matter, because for Jax to be coming up to her, that's how you know it's serious. But clearly not important enough for Pomni to care about, and then Jax abstracts. So yeah, I think the abstraction and Jax as a whole was handled beautifully. I really, really loved that. But I think that the suicide allegory, while it can work, it does send a bit of an odd message at times, which I don't fully agree with. And there's still a couple of mysteries that the finale did not solve, hence why I said it probably would have been good if there was a solid 30 minutes of extra content. It could have gone over the NPCs, the sun and the moon, Gummy Goo. Yeah, all those people. It could have went over them, because I wonder if they're actually like altered or corrupted brain scans of previous humans. If Kane has access to all of those files, I'm sure he can make some sort of mishmash. And, you know, there is a real question of sentience in here. You have to wonder if these brain scans are any different from people like Gummy Goo. And if they are basically identical, I wonder if they would ever start adding NPCs to the world, because, you know, they know they're not real people anymore. I guess where's the harm in adding some people that, you know, can exist just as much as you can to experience life? You know, it's funny because the biggest question that I have from this whole finale is how the abstragity sex scene, like how do they do that exactly? I think that's my biggest question about the finale is how do they and one final word about the leaks. I know that this has been all over the place, but luckily the only thing that got leaked for me was that Isn't She Lovely was in the movie, which even then I wasn't fully convinced because I didn't click on the video. I didn't hear like the cover or anything. Whenever the thing had leaked, I saw like a recommendation on YouTube. I was like, oh, it's one of those Siva Gunner rips, like, you know, where they do this whole funny thing, or they like mislabel a song as being from something just for the lulsies. No, they were serious. Those were real. But luckily that was all I saw. So it's good. Anyways, at the end of the day, I think the Amazing Digital Circus finale was amazing. I really liked it. I've gotten so hyper fixated on this series just at the end, which seems to happen to me a lot, which really pisses me off because now the fandom's just going to start taking a little nosedive in terms of activity. But you know what? It's whatever. It was great to be able to experience this in theaters with a crowd who were really enthusiastic about it, but also respectful for most of the time. There's a baby in my theater that was crying a little bit, but I think the parents were like, either A, this is really boring, let's get out of here, or we don't want to ruin this day for everybody, let's get out of here. Either way, I respect them for, you know, getting out of there. So yeah, that's my very rambly thoughts about the Amazing Digital Circus finale. If you guys want to, give your opinions on the finale in the comments. And yeah, tell me what you thought about my opinions. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm stupid, or if you think I'm right, please let me know down below. Subscribe!